Right, hi Astro World. So my name's Trey McLean, Sidereal Virgo. We're back at it again. Okay, so there was some things from Cancer and Leo's video that I also wanted to go back to, but I know that with time I can just go back to those and I don't have to really worry about it that much. But anyways, anywho, um uh we're on Virgo now. So I wanted to preface this by saying that this is for tropical people who are born 24 degrees of Virgo all the way to 23 degrees of Libra tropical. And also is the same for it's also the same for the Cancers and the Leos from the past two videos. I only said 0 degrees to 23 degrees of whatever was the next sign. So for Cancer I said 0 to 23 degrees of Leo, when actually I mean to say, and that's tropical Leo, right? Tropical. So I'm talking about, this is for people tropical. So I should have said 24 degrees of tropical Cancer to 24 degrees of tropical Cancer to 23 degrees of tropical Leo. And so now Virgo, this is for 24 degrees of tropical Virgo. That's and then to 23 degrees of tropical Libra. All right. Glad that we got that cleared up. So anyways, Virgo ascendant. We're going to be talking about everything Virgo today. I'm a Virgo sun, a Mars, and a Jupiter, sidereally, 2 degrees Mars, 4 degrees Sun, 5 degrees Jupiter. Love that for me. Okay, let's get into it though. So, the ascendant is the first house of your birth chart. It represents the self, identity, new beginnings, personality, conflict, head, appearance, and presentation. Virgo is sixth house originally. Mercury, health, service, routine, dissociation, mental health, altruism, elegance, grace, justice, grain, wheat, harvest, autumnal, freedom, autonomy, agency, atypicality, above ground, distant, caring, nurturing, priestesshood, spiritual, social awareness, self-awareness, growth, angels, demons, maidenhood, feminism, feminine, virginity, original meaning, not the sex part, and that will be at the end of the video, abstainment, great listening, understanding, compassionate, small intestines, pets, nervous system, and the spleen, but it got covered up by my little star there. So as a Virgo rising, or as Virgo placements in general, because we will get to, this is just the sign and the ascendant, your whole life is going to be about all of these different things. So it's important to understand that you will experience a lot of conflict around these things, but also, taking action or taking charge on some of these things is the way that you get to your new beginnings, but it's also the way that you somehow ground into who you are, your identity. And it will also affect your appearance. These things will affect everything that I put here. Yes, everything that I put here. Don't look at the screen crazy. Everything that I put here. Yes, everything that I fucking put here. Please don't piss me off. Please don't piss me off. Yes, everything I put here. And yes, some of this was also personal as well, from looking at my own Sun, Mars, and Jupiter placements in Virgo. But anyways, Vedius Valens, because I just wanted to note him. And also another note, Vedius Valens is not the only person I know of that's an astrologer, y'all. Okay, so we got Al Baruni. There's actually a website of people that I looked that Vedius was also on, right? But this is from his anthologies book, where he talks about the signs, the houses of planets. He talks about stars and what planets they're ruled by. And then he also talks about the 50 terms, which we will get to another time. But that's when we'll get to what decans are. But anyways, so not just Vedius Valens. There's also, a Christian astrologer. His name is William something. There's Ptolemy, there's Al-Biruni, there's other people too. And also in light in light of Virgo right here, I just want to say, yes, I am very aware that all of these are male astrologers, and I'm just like, I wish there was a lot more female astrologers for me to like kind of, you know, look at. But at the same time, in the same breath, there is female astrologers in the modern day, so I'm like, I'm happy for that. But anyways, Virgo is the house of Mercury, feminine, winged, anthropomorphic, luxurious, standing like the figure of justice, bicorporeal, uh, poreal, bicorporeal, barren, a freed man with no offspring, downward trending, earthy, common, semi-vocal or mute, concerned with the body, incomplete, changeable, industrious, two-natured. Men born under this sign are noble, modest, religious, burdened with care, leading a quite varied life, administrators of others' goods, trusted, good stewards, secretaries, accountants, actors, practitioners of curious arts, and seekers at after mystic lore, spendthrifts in their early years but prosperous later in life. And yes, I wanted to talk about that too. Virgo is a sign that is also responsible for astrology because Virgo is above ground. And we will get to why, right? We will get to why. But Virgo is like, is always moving, right? Always moving, a mutable earth sign, right? Always changing to, always growing. But Virgo really cares about like causes or certain things, mostly because Virgo stands, as like an angel, like I previously mentioned in the other slide, like an angel. Virgo is often depicted like that, wings and everything, and is often seen as a guide, and so that's why I'm happy to be even born as a Virgo Sun, Mars, and Jupiter. Like God birthed me at the right time, at the right place, boom, ba, bam. But yeah, so your ascendant also has something to do with this as well. And before you question, yes, you can question some things or be skeptical of other things. I think though, with the way that I observe things, I think that this is pretty accurate to like how things you do show up, and not only just from Valen's perspective, but other people's perspectives as well. Like I think this is pretty accurate. But yeah, and we will go on to why I think that's accurate, but anyways, let's keep moving. So, some mythology. We have Astraea, goddess of justice. During the Golden Age, she dwelt upon the earth with mankind, but was driven away by the increasing lawlessness of the subsequent Bronze Age. Zeus then set her amongst the stars as the constellation Virgo. This was from Theo.com. We also have Erigione, the daughter of Icarius, which is also a person that's tied to the constellation Boötes, and that's what we're also gonna get to that just in a bit. We're also gonna get to that. Yeah. Yeah, so we'll get to that when we get to Libra. But anyways, Icarius, who hanged herself after finding out her father was killed by his shepherds while they were intoxicated or drunk, because he was a winemaker. Icarius was a winemaker, and Zeus, and he welcomed Dionysus, not Zeus, Dionysus, which is also a god of winemaking. So we can already see here that there's a theme here around Virgo being very upset with the injustices done, or but in some cases choosing to be like a goddess of justice who, performs an act of, because I remember her story was Astraea. She, remained as a constellation. In another version, she put herself in the sky, and then she secretly watched over humanity, or that might have been some other goddess, but she watched over humanity from the background. So that's also where I got the distant part from, and also the above ground part from, because she just flung herself up there. But also dissociation, because in both instances, Virgo did not deal with the conflict head on. So this is what I'm saying, like, conflict as a Virgo rising, you're going to literally have conflict over the action that you take and justice, right? What is right? Sometimes you will find in your life as a Virgo placement or even as a Virgo rising that you will not say too much, do too much, because you know consequences are dire, but you also know that you want to still be alive, right? So sometimes, like, it's hard for you to even like just, and this depends on chart to chart, but sometimes it's hard for that Virgo energy to like come out in the way that it needs to, but then when it does come out, then you get to reap the benefits of that. So moving on to Babylonia, we're looking at the goddess Shala, which is the goddess of weather and grain. Then we have DK and Nemesis. DK is a justice goddess, and Nemesis is the rightful indignation goddess. I don't know too much about them, and the same like Shala. I don't know too much about her. But DK and Nemesis is where I kind of got the angels demon thing. Not only that, but also when I look at the charts of certain media or certain images, or even when I'm looking at Venus and Virgo transits, for example, I always notice like a black and white thing going on, or a very dichromatic thing going on. There's always a good side and a bad side. There's always, you know, some complexity between the two. So it's very middle ground, very like kind of like both sides-y. So that's also kind of why even Vedius Valens said at the time that, you know, he wrote his anthologies, you know, like that's why he even said Virgo is two-natured. So we have other cultures. Now, y'all, I didn't really try too much with this slide, so please forgive me. But anyways, Babylonians saw Virgo as the goddess Shala. Virgo has been tied to fertility. It is also the furrow as well. It's called the furrow when it comes to Babylonian astrology. Greeks were already discussed in this presentation. Astraea and Erigione, or even DK and Nemesis. Yes, so we already talked about them. Spica, Alpha Virginis, which is a star in Virgo, the brightest star, was seen as a wild beast star by the Zulu people. Now, I don't know too much about wild beast symbolism, but I'm guarantee you, if I look up anything wild beast symbolism, come back with a video on it, it definitely probably might align with Virgo. I know by another African culture saw Spica as a pig star. But anyways, Virgo is called Kanya in Vedic astrology and has 3 nakshatras called Uttara, Falguni, Hasta, and the Chitra nakshatras. So yeah, that's kind of that. And in note, virgin originally meant unmarried women. So this is also where I kind of got the interpretation of freedom from Virgo, because seeing that virgin meant you were not tied to a contractual marriage with a man, right? Not only were you kind of seen as a freak show, kind of if you were a woman at the time, well, at all of the times that was the case, because that's multiple time periods. Actually, it's not just dating back to Greek, that's even dating to medieval times too. You're not married, you're looked at as ugly, gross, disgusting, all these other type of things. And so it brings me to another point that I did not put in the slides, that Virgo is also seen as the 6th house, but some people also say the 6th house is the house of enemies. And I want to unpack that, because I think that that's unhealthy. I think that really is unhealthy. As a Virgo myself, I think that's really unhealthy, because I think what you perceive as the enemy is someone actually being autonomous and free in their body, and they know exactly who they are, and they're comfortable with who they are, and they don't need to fit the status quo in order to be digestible, right? And so, like, it's going back to what I said in the earlier slides and stuff. It's like, you know, in this slide right here, we already talked about everything that Virgo is. Now pause and take notes if you want to, and do the math when you're looking at the ascendant in Virgo, or just looking at other placements in Virgo. But yeah, when we're talking about this story around, like, we're talking about this story around viewing someone as the enemy because they represent a being that is not being told what to do. And that's ultimately what Virgo is. Virgo respects the boundaries and respects the different complexities of life. And that's why a lot of people view Virgo 6th house as the enemy, because they don't know how to unpack wait, this is actually not the enemy, because I can still be free and still have discipline. I can still be free but not have lawlessness. I can still be free and have order. And that's what Virgo is, bitch. And that's on period. So, yeah, this is my Virgo video, and I will see you on the next one.